want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as Your mama dead as Go dig her up. Go dig her up. Say something about my mama. Your mama dead as Your mama dead as Go dig her up. Go.
Hold up, because the internet is on fire right now, and if even half of what people are claiming is true, this could be one of the messiest hip-hop blowups we've seen in a long time. Over the last few days, clips and screenshots have been circulating that show King Harris allegedly going off after a comment that fans say crossed the ultimate line, disrespect involving a mother who isn't here anymore. And once that kind of talk enters the chat, you already know the vibe changes instantly. People online are saying it started as typical trolling, the kind of back and forth that usually stays on social media, until one quote reportedly hit
Man, when you start talking about people's deceased
different. Dig her up. Whether it was said exactly like that or the internet ran with it, the reaction has been explosive. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and suddenly it wasn't about jokes or clout anymore. It was about family, grief, and pride. And here's what makes it even crazier. The moment King supposedly snapped, the whole situation started pulling in everyone around him, friends, commentators, and even people who weren't involved at all. So the real question is, if this is the energy we're seeing publicly, what's happening behind the scenes? The moment those clips started spreading online, the atmosphere around the whole situation shifted almost instantly. At first, people thought it was just another
Tell your mama that she dead. Pay respect. Stop playing with my mama.
social media argument. Hip-hop has always had heated exchanges, and fans are used to seeing artists throw words back and forth on Instagram. But this time, the tone felt different. The clips that were circulating showed King Harris speaking with a level of emotion that many viewers said they had never seen from him before. He appeared visibly frustrated, leaning closer to the camera as if he wanted every word to land exactly the way he meant it. Fans quickly began connecting the dots between the earlier posts and the sudden reaction. According to the rumors spreading online, everything reportedly started after a disrespectful post aimed at Tiny Harris began making rounds on social media. People who saw the screenshot said the caption felt more like a personal attack than a joke. Within minutes, fan pages began reposting it and comments flooded in from every direction. Some viewers said the post crossed a serious line, while others argued that internet trolling had always been part of the rap game. But the situation escalated when people claimed that King saw the post himself. Those who watched the live stream said his energy was completely different from the calm personality he usually shows online. He reportedly stared directly into the camera for several seconds before speaking, almost as if he was deciding whether to respond or not. Then he began addressing the rumors that had already started spreading across fan pages. According to viewers who were present in the live stream, King made it clear that he felt that disrespect had gone too far. He reportedly explained that in hip-hop, there are plenty of things people argue about. Artists can joke about music, money, or success. They can debate who has the better catalog or who won a rap battle. But he suggested that bringing someone's family into the conversation crosses a different kind of boundary. The comment section exploded almost instantly. Thousands of viewers joined the stream, and fan pages began clipping short segments of the live video. Within minutes, those clips were circulating on Twitter, Instagram, and multiple hip-hop blogs. People online started debating whether King's reaction was justified. Some fans defended him immediately. They argued that anyone would react emotionally if they believed their family was being disrespected publicly. Others felt the entire situation had grown bigger than it needed to be. They pointed out that
Straight like that. Your son don't love you. You don't got no family.
internet arguments often spiral out of control because millions of people are watching and reacting at the same time. While that debate continued, more alleged details about the situation began surfacing. Several bloggers claimed that the original tension between the artists had already been building for weeks. According to those reports, the disagreement supposedly started with playful competition about music catalogs and versus battles. What began as light teasing eventually turned into subtle jabs online. At first, the posts seemed harmless. Fans saw them as part of the usual entertainment that surrounds rap rivalries. Memes appeared, people picked sides, and discussion forums were filled with predictions about who would win if the two artists ever actually faced off in a music battle. But the tone reportedly changed the moment family members were mentioned. People began reposting a quote that they claimed triggered King's reaction. Some said it had been exaggerated by social media, while others insisted it was real. Regardless of the truth, the phrase spread quickly enough that it became
the center of the entire conversation. As the rumors continued circulating, more fans started paying attention to the live stream clips. In one of the most widely shared segments, King reportedly addressed the idea that people online were treating the situation like entertainment. Viewers claimed he said that for him, the situation wasn't about internet clout. Instead, he suggested that certain subjects should never become jokes, especially when they involve people who are no longer here to defend themselves. Those words resonated with many fans who were watching the drama unfold. Comment sections quickly filled with people expressing sympathy, saying they understood why emotions could run high when family is involved. Others remained skeptical, suggesting that social media often twists situations in ways that make conflicts appear larger than they actually are. While that debate continued, another layer of drama began developing behind the scenes. Some fans noticed that other figures in hip-hop were starting to comment indirectly on the situation. Podcasts and reaction channels began discussing the controversy, each offering their own interpretation of what might have happened. A few commentators argued that the entire conflict was a misunderstanding fueled by viral clips. They suggested that short videos often remove important context from conversations. Others believed that the tension between the two sides had been building long before any livestream happened. The more people talked about it, the more intense the conversation became. Meanwhile, supporters of King began highlighting his loyalty to his family. They pointed out that he has always spoken openly about how much respect he has for his parents and the role they played in shaping his life. To those fans, his reaction wasn't surprising at all. On the other side, some observers questioned whether responding publicly would only make the situation worse. They argued that social media confrontations often encourage more trolling rather than solving the problem. But by that point, the story had already taken on a life of its own. Bloggers began compiling timelines of the rumored events. Fan accounts created detailed threads explaining how the alleged conflict might have started. Every new clip that appeared online brought another wave of speculation. Some people claimed the tension had now reached a point where both sides might respond through music rather than social media. In hip-hop history, many rivalries have eventually turned into diss tracks, and fans wondered whether the same thing could happen here. While none of that was confirmed, the possibility alone kept audiences glued to their screens. Even people who normally ignore celebrity drama found themselves watching the clips, trying to understand how a simple online exchange could grow into something so intense. And as the livestream continued circulating across the internet, the tone of King's words remained the center of discussion. Viewers said that despite the anger in his voice, he repeatedly emphasized the same point. According to fans who watched the stream carefully, he seemed less interested in insulting anyone and more focused on defending the honor of his family. That distinction became an important part of the online debate. Some fans praised him for standing up for his mother, saying it showed loyalty and character. Others worried that the situation could escalate further if emotions kept running high. By the time the livestream ended, thousands of comments had already been posted across multiple platforms. People were asking the same question over and over. Had the situation already gone too far? Or was it still possible that the entire conflict had been exaggerated by the speed of social media? No one seemed to have a clear answer. What everyone agreed on, however, was that the conversation had shifted from simple internet trolling into something much more personal. And as new clips and reactions continued appearing online, it became clear that the story was only getting bigger with every passing hour. The moment those clips started spreading online, the entire atmosphere around the situation shifted almost instantly. At first, many people thought it was just another small social media disagreement that would fade after a few hours. Hip-hop has always been filled with playful trolling, sarcastic comments, and back-and-forth jokes between artists. Fans are used to seeing rappers throw subtle jabs online, and most of the time those exchanges never turn into anything serious. But according to the reports circulating online, this situation started feeling different very quickly. It reportedly began when a post involving Tiny Harris started spreading across several hip-hop blogs. Some people claimed the post was meant as a joke, while others said it looked like a direct attempt to embarrass her publicly. Screenshots of the post began appearing everywhere, and within minutes, fans started arguing about whether it crossed a line. People flooded the comment sections with opinions. Some viewers said it was just another example of internet trolling. Others believed it was disrespectful to bring someone's family into a public argument that originally had nothing to do with them. At that point, the discussion was still mostly happening among fans. But things reportedly changed when King Harris himself appeared to notice the situation. According to viewers who claimed they were watching his Instagram live that evening, King seemed unusually serious when he turned on the camera. He didn't immediately start talking. Instead, people say he paused for several seconds, scanning the comment section as thousands of messages began appearing on the screen. Some viewers even said the silence felt tense. Then he finally began addressing what people were saying online. According to fans who watched the stream, King made it clear that he had seen the posts that were circulating about his mother. He reportedly explained that he normally avoids responding to internet drama because most of the time it only makes situations worse. But this time he suggested the comments had touched on something personal.
Almost immediately, the number of viewers watching the live stream began climbing. Fan pages started clipping short segments and uploading them to other platforms. Within minutes, those clips were being shared on Twitter, Instagram, and multiple hip-hop discussion forums. People everywhere were suddenly watching the same moment unfold. According to several viewers, King's voice became more intense as he continued speaking. He reportedly told the audience that disagreements in hip-hop are nothing new. Artists challenge each other all the time. They argue about music, success, popularity, and sometimes even personal rivalries. But he suggested that certain boundaries should always remain untouched. Fans say he explained that family members who are not part of the conflict should never become the center of public jokes. Many viewers interpreted his words as a warning that the situation had already gone too far. The comment section quickly filled with reactions. Some fans encouraged him, telling him they understood why he felt disrespected. Others urged him to calm down and ignore the situation entirely. While the live stream continued, people began connecting the situation to the earlier tensions that had reportedly been building between several artists online. According to bloggers who later covered the story, there had already been weeks of subtle arguments and sarcastic posts floating around social media. Most of those exchanges involved debates about music catalogs and potential rap battles. Fans had been arguing about who would win if the artists ever faced off in a versus-style competition. Memes appeared comparing classic songs, and some supporters claimed their favorite artist would easily dominate such a battle. At first, those discussions felt lighthearted, but over time, the teasing reportedly became sharper. Small jokes turned into pointed comments, and eventually some fans began treating the rivalry like a real conflict rather than friendly competition. When the alleged post involving Tiny Harris appeared online, it suddenly shifted the entire tone of the conversation. Many viewers felt that bringing a family member into the argument crossed an unspoken rule that most artists try to respect. As the livestream clips continued circulating, people began analyzing every word King said during the broadcast. Some fans pointed out that he never directly threatened anyone. Instead, they said he seemed focused on explaining why the situation bothered him so much. Others felt his tone showed genuine frustration. One of the most widely shared clips showed him leaning closer to the camera while reading comments from viewers in real time. People watching said it was obvious he was seeing thousands of messages scrolling across the screen. Some viewers were encouraging him, while others were challenging him to respond more aggressively. The energy of the stream grew more intense as the minutes passed. Within a short time, hip-hop blogs started posting headlines suggesting that the disagreement might turn into a full-blown feud. Discussion panels on podcasts began debating whether the entire conflict had been exaggerated by social media or whether it represented a deeper rivalry that had been simmering for years. Some commentators argued that the internet often creates drama where none existed before. They pointed out that screenshots can be misleading, and short video clips rarely capture the full context of a conversation. Others believed the tension between the artists was genuine. They noted that both sides had exchanged subtle remarks in the past, and that this latest controversy might simply be the moment when everything finally exploded into public view. Meanwhile, supporters of King continued defending it.
Online, many of them praised his loyalty to his family, saying that standing up for his mother showed strong character. They argued that anyone placed in the same situation might react with similar emotion. Critics, however, warned that responding publicly could make the conflict worse. They suggested that the more attention the situation received, the more likely it was to spiral into an endless cycle of insults and reactions. While fans argued back and forth, more clips from the livestream kept appearing online. Every new segment seemed to reveal another part of the conversation. In one moment, viewers claimed King spoke about how quickly rumors spread on the internet. He reportedly pointed out that thousands of people can watch a situation unfold in real time and instantly form opinions without knowing the full story. That observation resonated with many fans who had been watching the controversy grow hour by hour. It reminded them that social media often turns private disagreements into public spectacles. As the live stream continued, some viewers began speculating about how the other side might respond. Would there be another social media post? Would someone release a diss track? Or would the entire situation eventually cool down once the initial wave of attention passed? No one seemed certain. What everyone agreed on, however, was that the drama had already captured the attention of the entire hip-hop community. Bloggers, podcasters, and fan pages were all discussing the same topic. Everywhere people looked, they saw clips from the livestream and headlines about the alleged disrespect that had sparked King's reaction. And as the night went on, the tension surrounding the story continued building, leaving many observers wondering whether the situation was about to escalate even further.
As the live stream clips continued spreading across social media, the conversation around the situation became even more intense. What had started as a few viral screenshots was now turning into one of the most discussed topics across hip-hop pages. Every major blog seemed to be posting updates, and thousands of fans were debating the situation in comment sections. According to the reports circulating online, the tension between the artists had been building long before the live stream even happened. Some bloggers began revisiting older interviews and posts, trying to trace where the rivalry may have started. People pointed out that both sides had exchanged subtle comments over the years, sometimes playful and sometimes slightly sharper. At first, most fans treated those moments as part of normal rap culture. Hip-hop has always thrived on competition. Artists challenge each other, compare achievements, and sometimes throw small jokes at their rivals. In many cases, those exchanges simply add excitement for the fans. But this time, the tone of the conversation seemed different. As more people watched the live stream clips, they began focusing on King's emotions during the broadcast. Viewers said that his reaction didn't feel like someone chasing attention. Instead, they described it as the response of someone who believed his family had been publicly disrespected. Many fans began discussing the unspoken rules that exist in hip-hop conflicts. According to longtime listeners of the culture, rappers have always pushed boundaries when it comes to insults. They criticize each other's music, mock fashion choices, and sometimes question each other's credibility. But family members, especially parents, are usually considered off-limits. Because of that belief, the alleged comments about Tiny Harris quickly became the center of the entire controversy. Some viewers argued that the internet had exaggerated the situation. They claim that social media often turns ordinary jokes into something far more dramatic. Others insisted that the comments were real or deserved to serve as response. While those debates continued, more reactions began appearing from people connected to the hip-hop community. Podcast hosts started discussing the story during their episodes. Radio personalities mentioned the drama during entertainment segments. Even casual listeners who rarely follow celebrity news found themselves watching the clips out of curiosity. The story had officially gone viral. According to several blogs covering the situation, some fans also noticed that other figures in the industry were quietly reacting online. Subtle comments appeared under posts, and a few artists shared vague messages that seemed related to the drama. None of those reactions directly confirmed anything, but they added another layer of intrigue. People began wondering whether the disagreement would remain a social media argument or eventually turn into something bigger. Meanwhile, King's supporters continued defending him. Many of them pointed out that he grew up in a family that has been part of the entertainment world for decades. They argued that he understands how
public scrutiny works, and that his reaction likely came from genuine frustration rather than a desire for attention. Some fans even suggested that the situation might have been brewing privately before it ever appeared online. They speculated that small misunderstandings and lingering tensions could have built up over time, making the alleged comments about his mother feel like the final straw. While that theory remained unconfirmed, it added to the dramatic narrative that fans were building around the situation. Another detail that people began discussing was the speed at which the live stream clips spread across the internet. Within minutes of the broadcast, fan pages had already downloaded sections of the video and reposted them on multiple platforms. Each repost attracted thousands of new viewers who were seeing the moment for the first time. With every repost, the story seemed to grow larger. Some versions of the clips included captions that suggested the argument had become extremely personal. Others framed the situation as a misunderstanding fueled by rumors. Because there were so many different interpretations circulating online, it became difficult for viewers to know exactly what had happened. Still, the speculation continued. In several of the clips that gained the most attention, King reportedly emphasized the importance of respecting family. According to fans who analyzed the footage, he repeated the idea that disagreements between artists should remain between the artists themselves. Many viewers interpreted that message as a direct reference to the earlier posts involving his mother. As the night progressed, more people joined the conversation. Fans from different cities began sharing their opinions, sometimes passionately defending one side or the other. Discussion forums filled with long threads analyzing every detail of the situation. Some people predicted that the tension would eventually lead to diss tracks. Hip-hop history is full of rivalries that began on social media before moving into the studio. When emotions run high, artists often express their responses through music. Because of that tradition, many fans believed it was only a matter of time before someone released a song addressing the situation. Others hoped the conflict would cool down before reaching that point. They argued that public feuds often escalate quickly once music becomes involved. Diss tracks can turn disagreements into long-running rivalries that last for years. While those predictions circulated online, the artists themselves remained mostly silent. No official statements appeared confirming the rumors that fans were discussing. Instead, people relied on clips, screenshots, and secondhand reports to piece together the story. That uncertainty only fueled more speculation. Some bloggers suggested that the silence from the other side might indicate they were choosing not to engage with the controversy. Others believed a response was already being prepared behind the scenes. Either way, the tension remained high. As the following day began, the story continued trending across entertainment websites. New articles appeared summarizing the events of the livestream and the alleged comments that had triggered the reaction. Each article included quotes from fans who had watched the broadcast. Some said they felt sympathy for King, explaining that family respect is deeply important in many cultures. Others believed the entire situation had been blown out of proportion by social media algorithms that reward dramatic content. The truth remained unclear.
What everyone agreed on, however, was that the conversation had reached a level where it was no longer just about two individuals. Now the entire hip-hop community seemed involved. Artists, commentators, bloggers, and fans were all participating in the debate, and as more click-in opinions continued appearing online, the story only seemed to grow more complicated, leaving many people wondering whether the conflict was about to escalate into something even more dramatic. By the time the second day of discussion began online, the situation had already taken on a life of its own. What started as a few circulating clips had now turned into one of the most talked about stories across hip-hop pages. Every blog seemed to have a different interpretation of what had actually happened, and the audience watching the drama unfold kept growing. Fans who had missed the original livestream were now seeing short, edited clips that were spreading across every platform. Some of those clips focused on King's reaction, while others highlighted the comments that people believed had sparked the entire situation. Each repost seemed to bring new opinions and new theories about how the conflict began. One of the biggest reasons the story kept spreading was the emotional element attached to it. Many viewers felt that once family was mentioned, the entire argument moved into a different category.
Disagreements about music or competition are common in the rap world, but when parents become part of the conversation, fans often react strongly. That idea became the center of the discussion. People began sharing their own thoughts about respect and boundaries in hip-hop culture. Some longtime listeners said that there has always been an unwritten code among artists. According to that code, rivals can insult each other as much as they want, but certain topics should remain untouched. Because of that belief, many fans said they understood why King appeared upset during the livestream. Others, however, felt the entire situation had been exaggerated by the speed of the internet. They pointed out that social media often amplifies conflicts by repeating the same clips again and again. When millions of people watch a moment repeatedly, it can start to feel larger than the original event. While fans debated those perspectives, more reactions from public figures began appearing. Podcast hosts started discussing the controversy in detail. Some commentators said they believed the argument should have stayed private. Others argued that once something is posted publicly online, it automatically becomes part of the public conversation. During one discussion on a popular hip-hop podcast, the hosts talked about how quickly rumors spread in the digital age. They explained that a single screenshot can reach millions of people within minutes, and by the time the original context is explained, the narrative has already changed. That observation seemed to apply perfectly to the current situation. By now, the story had been shared so many times that different versions were circulating at the same time. Some fans believed the comments about King's mother were extremely disrespectful, while others questioned whether the quote had been taken out of context. Without clear confirmation, people were left to interpret the situation based on the information available to them. Still, the emotional impact of the clips remained strong. Viewers who watched the livestream said King appeared genuinely frustrated as he spoke about protecting his family's name. According to those viewers, he repeated several times that certain subjects should never become jokes. Those statements quickly became some of the most widely shared moments from the broadcast. Supporters praised his loyalty, saying it showed how seriously he takes his role within his family. They pointed out that growing up in the public eye often means facing criticism, but defending loved ones is something many people can relate to. Critics, however, raised a different concern. They argued that responding publicly might encourage the situation to escalate even further. In the world of hip-hop, public reactions sometimes lead to long-running rivalries that attract constant media attention. That possibility kept fans watching closely. Many people began wondering whether the disagreement would eventually move from social media into music. Throughout rap history, some of the most famous feuds started with online arguments before turning into diss tracks released in the studio. Because of that tradition, speculation about potential songs began appearing across fan forums. Some supporters even encouraged King to respond through music rather than continuing the argument online. They believed that expressing his perspective through a track would allow him to control the narrative and present his side of the story. Others felt that would only intensify the conflict. While those debates continued, another twist added even more attention to the situation. Several bloggers began reporting that other artists had started reacting indirectly to the drama. A few musicians posted cryptic messages on their stories, while others liked comments discussing the controversy. None of those actions confirmed involvement, but they suggested that people across the industry were paying attention. The idea that more figures might enter the conversation made the story even more dramatic. Fans began imagining different scenarios about how the situation could evolve. Some believed the artists might eventually speak privately and resolve the disagreement. Others predicted the opposite, suggesting that the tension had already reached a point where reconciliation would be difficult. The uncertainty kept audiences engaged. At the same time, the online discussion expanded beyond the original argument. People began reflecting on how social media changes the way conflicts develop. In earlier decades, disagreements between artists often remained private until music was released. Today, however, every small comment can become public instantly. Because of live streams and screenshots, fans can watch reactions happen in real time. That immediacy often intensifies emotions, both for the people involved and for the audience observing from a distance. Many commentators had the current situation illustrated that dynamic perfectly. A single live stream had triggered thousands of reactions, which then produced millions of views across multiple platforms. As the story continued spreading, more articles appeared summarizing the timeline of events. Journalists compiled lists of the posts, reactions, and clips that had contributed to the controversy. Each new article introduced the story to another wave of readers who were just learning about it for the first time. Meanwhile, King himself remained mostly quiet after the original livestream. That silence created even more speculation. Some fans believed he was choosing to step back and let the conversation cool down. Others suspected that he might be preparing a more direct response in the future. Without any clear statements, people continued interpreting every small detail they could find. One thing remained certain: the story had already captured the attention of the entire hip-hop community. What began as a rumored online insult had now evolved into a complex discussion about respect, family, and the power of social media. And as more voices joined the conversation, the tension surrounding the situation continued building, leaving many observers wondering whether the next development would calm the situation or push the conflict into an even more dramatic direction. By the time the third day of discussion rolled around, the situation had grown far beyond the original livestream. What started as a few viral clips had now turned into a full conversation across the hip-hop world. Blogs were posting updates almost hourly, and fans were analyzing every new detail that appeared online. The interesting part was that the story kept evolving depending on who was telling it. Some pages focused entirely on the moment King appeared frustrated during the livestream, describing it as a young artist defending his family. Other pages framed the situation as a misunderstanding that social media had exaggerated into a massive controversy. Because so many different narratives were circulating at the same time, the audience found itself piecing together the story like a puzzle. Meanwhile, fan reactions continued pouring in from every corner of the internet. On one side were people who strongly supported King. They argued that defending one's mother is something that transcends music, fame, or internet jokes. To them, the livestream wasn't about creating drama, it was about protecting family honor. Those supporters pointed out that growing up in the public eye often exposes celebrities to constant criticism, but when that criticism shifts toward parents or relatives who never asked to be part of the spotlight, emotions can run much higher. On the other side of the debate were viewers who believed the entire argument had been blown out of proportion. They suggested that social media platforms often reward dramatic content because controversy attracts clicks and comments. Once a story begins trending, it can take on a momentum of its own, regardless of how serious the original issue actually was. Those critics believed that the viral clips might have removed important context from the conversation. Without seeing the full live stream or understanding the background between the artists, many viewers were forming opinions based solely on a few seconds of footage. Still, the emotional weight of the situation kept people watching. Every new repost of the live stream generated thousands of additional comments. Some people wrote long messages explaining why family respect is deeply important in many cultures. Others joked that the entire situation felt like a reality show playing out in real time. That comparison appeared frequently across social media. Many fans said the unfolding drama had the same unpredictable twists as an episode of reality television. One moment people were discussing music rivalry, and the next moment they were debating family values and internet ethics. The unpredictability kept audiences engaged. While the online conversation continued, several entertainment commentators began discussing the larger lesson behind the controversy. They suggested that the situation highlighted how quickly digital platforms can transform small disagreements into global spectacles. A single live stream, watched by thousands of people, can become millions of views within hours once clips start spreading across different platforms. That level of visibility often intensifies conflicts rather than resolving them. Because every statement is analyzed and replayed repeatedly, the people involved may feel pressure to respond publicly rather than handling the situation privately. Many observers wondered whether that pressure had played a role in the current drama. After all, once fans start demanding answers, silence can sometimes create as much speculation as speaking out. Some bloggers even suggested that the entire situation could still take several different directions. One possibility was that both sides
might eventually step back from the argument and allow the attention to fade naturally. Social media controversies often burn intensely for a few days before audiences move on to the next trending topic. Another possibility was that the tension could eventually move into music. Hip-hop history contains countless examples of rivalries that began online before turning into diss tracks. Artists sometimes use music to express emotions that are difficult to communicate through short social media posts. Because of that tradition, fans continued speculating about whether new songs might appear referencing the situation. There was also a third possibility that some people quietly hoped for. Several commentators suggested that the individuals involved might eventually speak privately and resolve the misunderstanding away from public attention. Conflicts that appear dramatic online sometimes turn out to be simpler once both sides communicate directly. However, until that happens, the audience can only watch and interpret what appears on their screens.
As the discussion stretched into another day, the tone of the conversation began shifting slightly. Instead of focusing solely on the alleged comments that started everything, many fans began talking about the broader themes behind the drama. People discussed the importance of respect, the responsibility that comes with fame, and the role that social media plays in shaping public perception. Those conversations showed that the story had become bigger than the original argument. It had turned into a reflection on how modern celebrity culture operates. Every reaction, every repost, and every comment added another layer to the narrative. The audience was no longer just watching a disagreement between artists. They were witnessing how quickly the internet can transform private emotions into a global spectacle. And that realization left many observers asking the same question. In an era where every live stream can become a headline within minutes, is it even possible for public figures to handle personal conflicts quietly anymore? No one seemed to have a clear answer. What people did know was that the situation had already left a lasting impression on the online community. Fans would likely continue debating the events for days, analyzing the clips and discussing what should have happened differently. Whether the conflict eventually fades away or evolves into something larger remains uncertain. For now, all anyone can do is watch the story unfold, listen to the different perspectives being shared, and wait to see what the next chapter of this unexpected drama might bring. So now the question everyone keeps asking is simple: where does this story go from here? Over the last few days, the internet has been flooded with clips, reactions, and endless speculation about what really happened. Some fans believe King Harris had every reason to react the way he did after seeing those posts circulating online. Others think the entire situation may have been exaggerated by social media, where a single screenshot or short clip can quickly turn into a massive controversy. What makes this situation so fascinating is that no one seems to agree on the full story. Some people are convinced the comments crossed a serious line. Others believe the internet simply amplified a misunderstanding until it felt like something much bigger than it actually was. Either way, one thing is clear: emotions ran high, fans were shocked, and the entire hip-hop community has been watching this drama unfold in real time. The bigger question now is whether the tension will continue to grow or slowly fade away. Will someone respond publicly again? Could this situation eventually spill into music like so many rap rivalries before it? Or will both sides decide that the internet has already made the story big enough? Right now, nobody knows for sure. But what we do know is that stories like this show just how quickly things can spiral in the age of social media. One live stream, one comment, one screenshot, and suddenly millions of people are debating what really happened. And now we want to hear from you. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you believe the reaction was justified, or do you think the internet blew this whole thing out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is far from over. And if you want to stay updated on the latest celebrity drama, hip-hop news, and stories that everyone online is talking about, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because if this story takes another unexpected turn, you already know we'll be here breaking it all down.